Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are you all today? Welcome to It's Showtime with your host, the Matt Weinberg. Sitting in his club Showtime is none other than Casey, Mr. Showtime Martin, joining me as always. Showtime, how are you doing today, bud?
The Matt Weinberg, I am doing amazing. First, as you can see, North Province, the nukes up there. It is Kappa Alpha Psi, the greatest fraternity to ever grace this great country. It's their birthday. It's Founders Day. So, just wanted to make sure that I always say happy Founders Day to all my fraternity brothers. And then secondly, after the greatest fraternity was ever created and born, next was born a king. Matt, do you know what king that was? That king was the King Mr. Showtime. So, I'm celebrating the fraternity's birthday. Then I'm celebrating my birthday. Lots of wrestlers. We're going to be hanging out, having fun. Man, you can't ask for a better weekend than this.
It's going to be a fun time for sure this weekend at Club Showtime. I'm very excited to be popping bottles with the guys. It's gonna be immaculate, just to the nines. Everybody black tie. It's gonna be a great affair. Yes. Before we get into the first episode of 2023, I do need to send out a little apology to everyone. Apologies for the lack of content over the last couple weeks. I work retail. And the holidays got the best of me. In between that, I got extremely sick. I flew, COVID, something like that. But I kind of got put out of action for about a week and a half. So we did record during that time, but there was something wrong. And like I said, I fell off the face of the earth. So that never came out. We did kind of do a little bonus episode of stuff before that happened. But we did also record during that. And we're not going to release it just because all that information is old now, and we just want to move on to the future. But the one thing that we did record from that lost episode is Showtime's Power 5 for 2022. So I do want to give Showtime the space today before we get into the news of this week and what we kind of want to talk about. I do want to give Showtime the floor to go over his Power 5 rankings of 2022 for main roster WWE as well as NXT. So we'll get right into that if you're ready for that, Showtime.
Oh, man, I am always ready to talk about my Power 5. So the Matt Weinberg, as you said, we're going to do a Power 5, but a little bit different than normal. This is going to be our 2022 in Mr. Showtime's Power 5. I'm going to give you NXT separately, and then I'm going to give you the main rosters of AEW and WWE. So let's go ahead with it. I got the list here. The NXT Power 5 starts with number 5. She is the brand new NXT Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez. This one was a great one for her. She ended the year on top. And on top of that, you had Uncle Booker T crying and stuff. Congratulations, Roxanne. Well-deserved and an awesome defeat over Mandy. Next one is going to be number 4. He is the NXT Heavyweight Champion, and that is Braun Breaker. Now, Braun has been all over the place, defeated so many people as well, lost it and regained the title, and this man is still breaking things, anything that's in front of him, and I believe Grayson Waller will also get broke as well. Had an amazing year. That goes to Braun Breaker. Now, number 3 goes to what I believe is the greatest tag team right now out in NXT, and that is the Yes Boys. That is Pretty Deadly. And, I love this. I know I don't have side plates, but, for the Pretty Deadly people, side plate check. The Yes Boys, Pretty Deadly. Number 2, I'm going to go with somebody who held the Women's Championship longer than anybody else in the history of NXT. This has to go to Mandy Rose of Toxic Attraction. And then the number one superstar to me, the Mr. Showtime of 2022, comes down to the one and the only, Mr. I Can't Miss, Carmelo Anthony. The man had an amazing career year. I'm telling you, man, it's all over the place. I love what he's done. He put on banger after banger this year as well. Congratulations, Carmelo. Man, I just don't know, man. Carmelo Hayes, you've done a really good job. Keep up the great work, what you're doing. And now, Mr. Showtime wanted to do a few honorable mentions because, NXT, it was a great year. You want to make sure you had everybody in there. I know I just gave it to Carmelo Hayes for number one, but there are a few others out there, and that has to go to, the tag team that just won, but it also made them the best tag team, I believe, now in the world, and that is the New Day. They are going crazy. Super excited to have them back in NXT, and I cannot wait to see what's going to happen next. Now, I do have two breakout stars for you in 2022. The first one's going to go to Damon Kemp. The man was on fire, beating up people, hitting people with chairs all over the place, just really getting in the game and already showing that he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And then the other breakout star I have is Trick It Ain't Easy Williams. The man's been on fire as well, helping Carmelo have the year that he's had, but also having a great year himself. I think one of the best hype men we've seen in a long time in WWE as well. So congratulations to all the NXT stars. Now let's go ahead and move over to the main roster. At number 5.
Showtime,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Can I cut in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Cut in.
So first off, R.I.P. Mandy Rose in the way that her NXT and WWE career is over. I know, like I said, we haven't touched on a lot of stuff in the last 2 weeks, but this is a big thing. Mandy Rose, we wanted to give her the due diligence because of what she has accomplished. Basically being the greatest NXT champion, women's champion or champion of all time, completely revamping her career. And then, as we know, she's no longer with WWE based off some extracurricular activities that WWE did not see fit for their brand. But I did just want to put that a little bit in there. Secondly, Showtime, it's Carmelo Hayes, not Carmelo Anthony, my guy. I know you love basketball, but Carmelo Anthony's been retired, I think, for a while.
I was looking at and that was my bad.
And the third thing,
I was shooting.
And the third thing that I do have to put into this is,
okay.
So if I heard you correctly, you said that the New Day is now the greatest tag team in the world.
Yep, greatest.
Okay, I just wanted that to be on record for when people come for your head. Because you have the Bloodline, you have FTR, you have Lucha Bros, you have the Young Bucks, you have a lot of people. So I just wanted that on record, and I just kind of wanted to point out a few things before we jumped into main roster for you. But I will give you the floor back unless you want to respond to the allegation of you being crazy for thinking the New Day is the greatest tag team in the world right now.
Oh, they cover my head. I'm ready for you. Ain't nobody worried about it. When you think of the greatest tag teams of all time, especially in the world, you have to think of no other than who? The New Day, man. They're all over the place. And yeah, I get it to you. The Usos are great. Nothing against them at all. But the New Day has been doing it. And when you think about what tag teams they've been against that made the Usos so great and what matches have it been, you're going to start with the New Day versus the New Day versus the Usos all the time. So you got to give it to the New Day. But y'all can come for me, though. It's all right. I'm tough. Are you ready for the Power 5? You ready to keep on going? All right.
Yeah, you guys heard it here first. You can come for Showtime's head for the tag team stuff. So let us know down in the comments how crazy he is. And with that being said, this is Showtime's Power 5 for 2022. That was NXT. He is about to give his 2022 for main roster WWE and AEW top 5.
You are right, my man. Let's go into it. Number 5 of 2022. I have Bianca Belair. Can you even blame me when you talk about who's been at the top of the mountain for the year, who's put on the bangers for the year? You have to start with Bianca Belair. I feel that she has carried that women's division all of 2022. Shout out to Bianca at number 5. Number 4, I'm going to go with the man himself, the architect, Seth Rollins. When you look at the career he's put together and you look at this year, you have to go and say most of this year has been some of the best work that Seth Rollins has done in his entire totality. So I want to give a shout out to number 4, Seth Rollins. Now at number 3, when you look at this man, you thought he was down and out. You thought it could never get better. He moves over to a different company, leaves on his own, goes over to AEW. The man, Jon Moxley, has had an incredible year in 2022. You cannot say anything less than that. So when you put him on there, you got to put him on with some respect. Now, at number 2, this man has wrestled a few times this year, but he is known for more than just wrestling. He is known for destroying people on the mic. He is better than you, and you know it, and that is the one and only MJF. You cannot say anything less than he has been on his best of everything he's done in 2022. And then at number 1, there's only one that throws up the one, and that is the tribal chief. I acknowledge you, Roman Reigns. When you look at the bloodline, I have nothing else to say. The man has been destroying everything in front of him, or as he would say, the Matt Weinberg, he always say he smashed people. And that's what he's done all 2022, has not even taken a pinfall. The man, the myth, the legend, the tribal chief. Now, I do have some breakout stars for you, Matt, when it comes to the main roster. And if you're okay with it, I want to go over these as well. The breakout star. I have 2 of them, run from each company. And the first one we're going to go with WWE is Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, you cannot say anything other than has been phenomenal last year to us now, but in 2022. The man has made people laugh, cry, joke, everything you can think of, put on bangers as well, and kept everybody entertained. He's done what he needed to do, and especially when it comes to helping out the bloodline. And on the other side, you have to go with the one, the only, herself, Jade. Like, can you even doubt me on this? Jade has been coming and getting better and better and better every year in AEW, and she proves that she is at the top of the mountain right now. Congratulations to everybody and Mr. Showtime's 2022 Power 5. Back to you, the Matt Weinberg.
Yeah, I would definitely agree that Sami Zayn has completely changed the game this year. I haven't seen so many people break character in this span of this run with him in the bloodline. We've seen him break Roman. We've seen him break both Usos. We've seen him break Solo. We've even seen him break Paul Heyman. And if you know me, sorry. If you know me, you do know that Paul is my idol. So that makes me happy that he was able to break Paul down. I do agree with Bianca Belair in this lineup. I think she did a fantastic job of holding down the roster while the Queen of Queens took a long rest. Definitely created buzz around the Raw Women's Championship, and definitely made it feel important. Seth Rollins, I got nothing bad to say about Seth. Actually, I do have something bad to say about Seth, but it's going to be in about 5 minutes maybe when we get into the news. So, Jon Moxley, MGF, both great picks. I believe they're in the right spots. And rounding it out with Roman Reigns, I think was a great decision too, because he is the IWGP #1 wrestler in the world right now. He is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world for the top company in the world right now. And he hasn't been pinfall or submitted and hasn't taken a loss in, I think, over 1,000 days.
Which is crazy.
So it's going on, which is absolutely crazy. On top of being the longest reigning WWE champion of all time. So he is officially on that Mount Rushmore, I think, for a lot of people. And I'm super happy for Roman, because I remember 5 years ago, everybody wanted him out.
It's true. Very true. He came a long way, man. Especially to be on my top list, because I was not a Roman fan, and he's made me, Mr. Showtime, a fan.
Yeah, I remember having to talk you off of We Want Roman Out. So, and again, shout out to Jade. Absolutely astonishing to watch the come up. And 2023, I think, is going to be a year to watch for sure. And with that being said, that concludes It's Showtime Wrestling 2022. Let's move into 2023 with a good look at the news. Speaking of the Queen of Queens earlier, this past Friday night on SmackDown, the Queen of Queens not only returned, not only came ready for a fight, not only had a remix theme song, that was one of the greatest pops I've heard in months for someone. So congratulations to her on that. Now, not only did all of that happen, but she challenged Ronda Rousey immediately after she had a match. Ronda, because of her ego, said yes, obviously. And Charlotte won. So within 2 minutes, we had a Charlotte debut, and immediately, I believe this is the second time that WWE has done this with Charlotte returning, immediately put the belt on her. I do have to say, thank God I am tired of Ronda Rousey being champion. I am very happy that Charlotte is back. The greatest female wrestler in the world right now has the top belt in the world right now. And everything is all right in the world. Everything is all right in WWE. The Queen of Queens has returned. What do you think that this does for SmackDown? What do you think it does for the roster? And how much of an impact is this going to have for the rest of the year, and especially leading up to WrestleMania Showtime?
Oh, it changes the game. When you think about the greatest, to me, when you talk about Mount Rushmore, you have to put Charlotte up there as one of the greatest to ever do it, and still doing it at top level. She elevates anywhere she goes. And it's so much better watching her have a title and people chasing for that title. I think that's the thing that's really going to be intriguing this year, especially when you look at WrestleMania, which I think is going to end up being, mark my words, Matt, one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time, because this is going to be the first real Triple H Mania, and I just think it's going to be amazing, especially being in LA. This has really helped drive them in the right direction to figure out what to do next and to just imagine what we're going to see. Because I think, as I always said, Raquel is coming. I think Raquel is right there, and this is her year. And so I cannot wait to see the matches that we see with Charlotte, because she is absolutely phenomenal. And when you talk about the women's division and how good it is, it's great when Charlotte's a part of it.
Yeah, I would agree. But a little bit of knowledge for the people out there. When you're watching championships and storylines going like that, generally the best storylines that win and the best ones is always the good guy trying to win the title from the bad guy. That's always how we see it. The good guy chases the bad guy. And for a long time, we've always seen Charlotte as the bad guy. But from the looks of it, Charlotte's coming back as a good person. Charlotte's coming back as a babyface, and we haven't seen that. So I'd like to see the storytelling of the heel chasing the face for a while. And I think we'll have some different dimensions in that too. And it's going to be interesting to see what they say because, yes, Raquel is coming. I do agree with that there. We just had Emma come back to SmackDown. There's a couple other people in there, but I don't think anyone currently on the roster can hold up to Charlotte. There are some people on Monday Night Raw, but I do not think SmackDown has a genuine number one contender on their roster right now to go and beat Charlotte.
Very true. I agree with you on that one.
So we'll see what happens. With that being said, we do have information that AJ Styles was injured at a house show. It looks like it's a broken foot or a broken ankle. Luckily, he did not need surgery on it, but this just means that he's going to be out for a prolonged amount of time. This includes the Royal Rumble, so we will not have AJ Styles for the Royal Rumble. That's a huge blow, I believe. What do you think about that Showtime?
It's sad because I was really looking forward to him being in the Rumble. But I think this could be a little bit different of approach that WWE has to take. So it could be a blessing in disguise. That means that we're moving on from, the feud of the Judgment Day and the club and how that was going. I think it was time to move on from that. So it allows these guys to see what's next for them. And the good news is because he didn't need surgery and stuff, I'm hoping that he comes back, obviously, in a good amount of time still to hit WrestleMania. So, I think that we have a lot of things we're going to see, and I think that's going to be a huge pop once he comes back as well. And who knows when you might see AJ Styles again. It sucks for right now. Definitely one of the best to ever do it. But I bet you, I know he's coming back even stronger than he was before. And although you might not see him in the Rumble, we're going to see him down the road before WrestleMania. And still, I think he's going to put on one hell of a match when he comes back. Or, I don't know, Money in the Bank or something. Hopefully he can come back by then.
Yeah, I think his injury is a 6 to 12 week turnaround time. So he's missing the Rumble, but he'll definitely be back for Mania. And then, like I said before, I do have something bad to say about Seth Rollins. Do not know the extent of it yet, but there was footage of him being injured and throwing up the terrible X signal either during Monday Night Raw or a house show after Monday night. So from the looks of it, it looks like he hurt his leg again. So we'll see what happens with that. Like I said, I don't have all the information. Nothing has been released about it yet. But hopefully it is not as serious as it looks and feels right now, so we can get Seth healthy and good, because a potential main event for WrestleMania is Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE title or the Universal title. So if Seth is out potentially months with a leg injury, that's a huge wrench thrown into the WrestleMania plan.
Very true.
Showtime. What are your thoughts?
Man, I don't know, man. I seen that, and I'm very, very sad about what's going on. I'm hoping it's maybe just an angle and not truly a big injury for him. And, when you think about what can happen in WrestleMania, if this is a major injury, that really does change a lot of stuff. And I don't want that to happen, especially because we should see, hopefully, Cody Rhodes coming back for the Rumble. So I just hope that it's nothing major, hope that he's okay. And we can move on from it. And he'll be back in plenty of times if he is injured to make a big push, because I think he's an integral part of WrestleMania for sure.
Yeah, and I think we'll definitely have to hit on this next episode of, if Seth is out. Like I said, next episode we'll have some more information on this, so we'll be able to talk about a little bit more. And if Seth is injured, what does that look like? Because I think the immediate reaction is, oh, well, you're not going to have Roman versus The Rock anymore. You're going to have Roman versus Cody, and Cody's going to dethrone the Tribal Chief. But I think there's some other things at play here. So with that being said, speaking of The Rock, this week, Dave Bautista was being interviewed by GQ and made some interesting comments about The Rock. So he was asked about his acting and, what he's excited for. And he was talking about how he's excited that his time with Drax and the Guardians franchise is coming to an end because it did launch his career into what it is now, but he's ready for some more serious roles. And in talking about The Rock, he basically said, I never wanted to be Dwayne Johnson. I wanted to be a good actor. I wanted to be a respected actor. So who knows what that's leading to? Maybe this is how he feels. And I kind of agree with what he says. Bautista has taken a lot more of a different approach to acting than Dwayne has. You could probably take any of The Rock's movies and cut the character out and put it into another movie, and it would work exactly the same. Where Bautista has done many different roles, some being comedy, some being serious, some being thriller, that sort of stuff. So I can see where those comments are coming from. But someone did make the point to notice that WrestleMania is in LA, and you could potentially have a Bautista versus Rock situation coming up out of that. I don't think that's going to be the case because you've already had Bautista versus Triple H a couple years ago, and The Rock versus Roman makes a heck of a bigger story than The Rock versus Bautista, who the better actor is. But do you have any thoughts on what this is?
I think this is some just real hate from Bautista because I feel like he thinks he's the best wrestler turned actor. And he's one of those people who's had weird kind of comments like this a lot in his career, especially when it comes to the acting side of things. But that's a tough one. I don't think that we get much out of it. Maybe The Rock responds. Maybe this is a way to hype The Rock up as he comes to LA. Maybe this is Bautista trying to figure out how to get maybe one more good match out. But man, that's tough. When you're talking about The Rock, we mean The Rock and what The Rock's been in, and you're going to say that you never wanted to be like him and basically tell him that you're a better actor. That's big shoes, Bautista. That's big. I know you've been in Marvel, but, that's big shoes when you're talking about The Rock as one of the people you're coming at. So
yeah,
I just know it'd be scary to see them two fight, man. Some big dudes.
Definitely, it would definitely be interesting to see. With that being said, let's move over to the other side of the world for a little bit. There was Wrestle Kingdom this past week and weekend, which is basically WrestleMania 4 in New Japan. And before that, we talked about it previously on this podcast that Shinsuke Nakamura was going over to Japan to have one match with the Great Muta. And that match happened. Nakamura defeated the Great Muta. And from my understanding, Shinsuke was very thankful to Muta after. And what it seemed was that was Muta's farewell. So if that is the end, what a great career the Great Muta had. What a way to go out. Nakamura looked like Nakamura of the past, and I hope Triple H was watching, and I hope that something good for Nakamura comes out of that. Because if not, I have a feeling that Nakamura will go back to Japan when his contract is up, because he's able to be more of himself there. So do you have anything to add about that match, Showtime, before we get into some Wrestle Kingdom talk?
It was just an awesome match. Anybody who got to see it, I love Nakamura using the poison and everything to win. It was an awesome way to end it. I know Great Muta has one more match. He's going to tag team with Sting, and that's actually going to be his last match as of we know now as well. So he has one more to go. But just an awesome show of respect. And, when you look at Triple H and him being in WWE, this is what you get. Like, I don't think Vince would allow this to happen. So I'm just very thankful that Triple H allowed this to happen because this was a great moment for anybody who's watched the Great Muta. I'm a huge Nakamura fan as well. So this was just awesome to see. And, Matt, don't worry about that. I know that Nakamura loves being in California and loves, surfing and stuff. That man's going to stay in the United States for the rest of his life and retired. He's living great right now.
I mean, Nakamura lives in Florida, but yeah.
Oh, I mean, I said California, Florida. Either one, surfing.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. But we'll see. We never know what the landscape will look like. MJF is always talking about the great war of 2024, the great signing of 2024. So, or contract war, I should say, of 2024. So we'll see what happens. We have a whole entire year to plan out this when there's a lot of big name free agents in 2024. So with that being said, and speaking of 2024 free agents, I want to get into, I think, the top 3 matches to discuss about Wrestle Kingdom that the people would actually know who they are and talk about. And as a personal note, I would like to start getting a little bit more into New Japan. I think the respect side of it is way different than what we see in WWE and AEW. So you have first and foremost the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship bout, which is Kazuchika Okada defeating Jay White. Match was a 5-star match. It was absolutely unbelievable. Okada, to me, is one of the best wrestlers in the world currently, and Jay White is very much so up there with him as well. There is lots of talk about Jay White possibly losing this match because there's rumors that he's coming to America to show up in a Royal Rumble spot. I know that we had talked about a leaked Royal Rumble sheet, and Jay White's name was on there. So if that is the case, bring on Jay White. Jay White versus Seth Rollins is an unbelievable dream match of mine. And I think we could possibly see that happen. So I'd like to get your thoughts on that, Showtime.
I'm excited because if Jay White comes over, man. Jay White, you said Seth Rollins would be awesome. I think him versus KO would be great. Sami Zayn. Man, the list could go on when you come to Jay White's side of it. So I'm super excited, and I hope that he shows up in the Rumble as well. Awesome match from both of them. Like you said, Okada, one of the greatest, one of the best in the world as well when you look at who's at the top of the list. And so awesome match. I mean, you can't go wrong with either one of them. But Jay White, come on over, WWE. Come on over, man. I cannot wait.
So the second match I wanted to talk about was the IWGP United States Championship, which is Kenny Omega defeating Will Ospreay. And I saw Will's chest for after the match. God, it looked like he got beat and chopped by not only Ric Flair, but also Gunther and Braun Strowman, all wrapped into one Kenny Omega. Absolute match. I think that this match is already in talks of being match of the year from what I've been hearing, and we're only 5 days into the year. And I know Wrestle Kingdom is the end of New Japan's season, quote unquote. But what a way to finish for them. Congratulations to Kenny Omega. I'd like to see how this plays out with AEW and New Japan, as well as I'd like to see what happens here for Will Ospreay. He's a Jay White type of guy, one of the best people in the world, very underrated because he's been in Japan most of his career. Would love the opportunity to see him come over stateside and showcase what he can do. So
for sure.
What you think, Showtime?
Hey, man, these guys beat the hell out of each other. You're getting a 5-star plus, whatever. Anytime these two get in the ring together anyway, I know Kenny Omega's been hurt for a while too. So it was good to see him back in his old form as well. I truly love the New Japan Kenny Omega. I've always liked that side of him. So I hope he brings more of that back to AEW as well. But man, it was just an awesome match from start to finish. You can never go wrong with either one of those guys. And I just can't wait to see what else these guys bring this year in 2023.
Yeah, Kenny also had a crazy entrance video. If you haven't seen that, go YouTube it. It's absolutely unbelievable. And the final match that I wanted to talk about from Wrestle Kingdom, because there's more to it than just the match. For the first time, Kairi is defending the IWGP Women's World Championship. It's the first title defense for this championship as well. Kairi did defeat Tam Nakano to retain. But the news isn't about this match. The news is about what happened after the match. And after the match, we have been hearing rumors for weeks, for months, and finally, Mercedes Mone, formerly known as Sasha Banks, has made her debut in New Japan at the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom to declare that she is coming after Kairi and the IWGP Women's World Championship belt. Unbelievable. I know I'm going to have to sit here now and listen to Showtime gush over Mercedes Mone and gush over New Japan and how excited he is to see the boss back in business. And I'd like to get into a little discussion of what this means for the landscape of the wrestling industry now and what that means, and kind of talk about what we've seen from this weekend with the support that Mercedes has gotten by going over and doing that. So, Showtime, what are your initial thoughts on this?
The Matt Weinberg, you know what time it is. It's boss time. Woo! Now, I told you guys, if you ever had to prove yourself, you got to go do it, and you got to kill it when you do it. And the boss has finally shown you how you get it done. You know, you talk about her with Disney, and then you move over to the first time ever being over in New Japan and killing it as well. Man, I don't know what else you want from her. At this point, Triple H, pay the girl. Pay her. Let's get her back in WWE. Because if you don't pay her, she's about to go on a world tour domination. And she's starting with, New Japan. And it's only going up from here.
Yeah, I definitely would like to touch on that. I mean, the main reason that we heard that she's not back in WWE is that she believes that she deserves Charlotte Flair money. Now, I don't believe that she is on the same level as Charlotte. Personally, I think that Charlotte is the number one female in the industry right now. I don't think Sasha's there. Now, do I wish her all the best? 100%. Anyone that's going to bet on themselves, and you can tell she made her name Mercedes Mone because she is betting all of her Monet on herself that she's going to be successful outside of WWE. Now, you can't fault her for that. She's going the same route that Drew McIntyre did. And I hope that she's successful. I hope that she kills it. I hope that she goes over there and becomes a great IWGP Women's Champion. I hope that she goes over to AEW, which has been teased already. Then she goes over there and does her thing there, becomes AEW champion, becomes ROH champion, proves to people that she can be the number one on a program. And then maybe one day, a couple years from now, she comes back to WWE to take that rightful place. Or we have some sort of forbidden door match where we have a Charlotte versus Sasha, Charlotte versus Mercedes, or however they want to do it, to really prove who is the better person. I think that if you see anything, long-term storytelling takes effect. And there was a long time ago where I think I brought it up before that I pitched Roman being fired from WWE and being forced to go work local promotions all around America, go over to England, go over to the UK, go over to Japan, and really eat shit for 10 years and then come back to WWE and become who he is today, which is the tribal chief and the bloodline and all that sort of stuff. But it was always planned that way by WWE pulling strings in the background to showcase, oh, hey, we realize that Roman wasn't working. We realize that he's not as good as we think he is. So we're going to send him, we're going to fire him. He's going to have to go figure it out on his own, just like McIntyre did, just like every other person did. But realistically, the whole entire time is, no, we didn't fire him. We just sent him to go make a name for himself elsewhere, as a major storyline. So I don't think that's the case with Sasha. I think there's some real bad blood between her team and her finances and WWE and their team and their finances, because why else would you show up to a direct competitor? Why would you walk out of a company And not only that, but why you would be so public and vocal about the support that you've gotten for showing up in a different company. We do know that she didn't travel alone. She traveled there with Bayley in tow to support her. Asuka was also there to support her, as well as Kairi. Naomi was there to support Mercedes, as well as we did see FTR there to support Mercedes as well. So, a lot of moving parts. And I think this changes the landscape of the industry right now. So, with that being said, Showtime, what does this do for the industry? What does this do from a management standpoint? What does this do from a talent standpoint? Do you think that WWE now needs to step up and realize what they lost? Or this is the best decision that Sasha/Mercedes made, is betting on herself? And what do you think the reaction from the rest of the industry is going to be?
Matt, what I'm going to say to you, man, it's a great time to be alive in wrestling. I think it's amazing. I think WWE obviously needs to pay her. Trish, pay her now. But, I want to see her go other places. I want to see her do other things, because what I've seen this last couple of years really in wrestling, man, everybody moving around, everybody gets a chance to see big stars, other stars need it. First time ever you get to see dream matches really happen. If you take Sasha versus Jade, that's a great one. There's a few people over in AEW I'd like to see as well. So when you start having these great talents move over to other companies and other places, and now you really get to see these dream matches, we may never get a year like these again where we see this. So Mercedes, go do your thing, girl. Make your money all over the world. Then WWE, pay her to come back. Definitely. She has to end her career, have a Hall of Fame, because she is a Hall of Famer in the WWE as well, and have all those horsewomen, really be able to go out on top, but all together as well. Because, women's wrestling has been progressively getting better and better to a point where they do some of the most amazing matches out there. And now you're getting to see these dream matches with women together. I just can't wait, man. I'm super excited, as you know, to see what Mercedes does next. And I hope she does show up in AEW. I don't want her to sign now. I need her to go back to WWE. But I do want to see what she can do over on the AEW side as well.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what the next couple weeks and months showcase for not only Mercedes, but for the rest of the women's industry going forward. Like we talked about, Charlotte's back, and she's back at the helm. So let's see what happens after Rumble. Let's see what happens after Mania. There's a potential WWE draft coming. Who knows? So I think it's all good going forward, going ahead. And you have to respect her for it. I don't really like the haircut. It's a little weird, but that's besides the point. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, yeah. I get that. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, thank you for everything over the last couple months and weeks since we've started this. Thank you for a great start or a great end, I should say, to It's Showtime Podcast of 2022 and a great new beginning of Showtime Podcast 2023. Looking forward to lots of new, fun, interesting conversations. Looking forward to always spending time with Showtime. It's always a great time with Showtime. And with that being said, do you know what time it is, Showtime? I'm kind of lost on what time it is.
I got it for you. My watch says it's showtime.
Thank you, everyone. As always, please leave a 5-star review down below on wherever you're listening to this podcast. Please check us out on social media at It's Showtime Wrestling on all your favorite social medias, and we will see you next week. Peace.